The kitchen is one of the most important spaces in a short-term rental, but it's also one of the easiest to get wrong.
We've walked through a lot of STR kitchens in our time, and there are a few common mistakes that we see over and over.
Some of them seem small, but they can seriously impact your guest's experience and your budget.
So today we're breaking down some of the biggest kitchen setup mistakes that we see hosts make and what to do instead.
Whether you're setting up your first property or giving your STR kitchen a refresh, these tips will help you avoid wasted money and unnecessary guest complaints.
Let's get started.
Mistake number one is choosing the cheapest option of everything for your STR kitchen.
We get it. When you're stocking a whole house, those little purchases do add up fast.
But unfortunately, that $1 can opener from IKEA or that $20 cookware set from Walmart might not last more than a few guests.
And replacing things constantly doesn't just cost money, it costs you time. It can also cost you a negative guest review if someone shows up to the house and there's missing kitchen essentials or there's a warped frying pan.
This is all worthless.
But that doesn't mean that you need to go buy everything at Williams-Sonoma either. We stick to mid-range items that are durable, easy to replace, and won't break the bank.
We've listed all of our favorite tried and tested pieces in our sample inventory.
This list has links to the exact items that we put in our rental properties, saving you time and taking the guesswork out of what to purchase for your short-term rental.
You can access this all for free by going to the link in the description box below or just visiting arrivals.com/inventory.
Mistake number two is not having enough dishes, silverware, or cups for the number of people that your property sleeps.
If your place sleeps 6 and you only have 6 forks and 6 plates, then your guest is going to have to run that dishwasher after every meal.
Or worse, they'll let them pile up in the sink and then complain that your kitchen is not very well stocked.
Our rule of thumb is to have 2 of everything per guest. So that means if your maximum occupancy is 6, then you're going to need 12 plates, 12 glasses, 12 pieces of silverware, and so on.
I feel like we say this in every setup video, but it's true, so I'm going to say it again. Guests might mention in their review that you have a well-stocked kitchen, but they will definitely mention it if you don't.
Mistake number 3 is either having too much crammed in a small kitchen or having a very large kitchen with not enough items.
We've seen smaller kitchens packed with every gadget imaginable, but it just leads to clutter and confusion.
At our beach duplex, our kitchens are very small, especially in the 1-bedroom. So we had to be very selective during the setup process with what extras we chose to offer.
But that doesn't mean that guests can't cook a full meal there. We've just focused on multi-purpose options and space-saving solutions.
To help any of you with a small kitchen setup, we've recently expanded our sample inventory with a specific section for small kitchens. So if you're working on a kitchen setup with limited space, definitely check out that inventory list.
And if you're curious how that house is working out for us financially, you'll want to make sure that you're subscribed with your notifications turned on for our channel, because we have a video coming out soon where we're going to deep dive into the financials from 2024 for both of the units of our beach duplex.
Now on the flip side to small kitchens, if you have a house with a big kitchen, you should lean into it.
This is your chance to go above and beyond to set yourself apart from the other listings in your area and to really wow your guests.
Just remember, fill it nicely, don't cram it.
Mistake number 4 is forgetting about kids when outfitting your short-term rental kitchen.
If your property welcomes families, then you really need to have a few essential kids' kitchen items.
If you don't, then your guests will end up letting their toddlers use your nice glassware and your full-size ceramic plates, and we all know how that story ends.
Catering to kids in your STR kitchen really doesn't take much. A few BPA-free plastic bowls, plates, cups, and utensils really goes a long way to making a family feel at home in your house, and this protects your inventory of nicer dishware.
These items can be super affordable and easy to replace as needed, and we think that if they spare you even one broken glass, not just the inventory, but the glass all over the floor and that experience, we think they're worth it.
Plus, if a guest sees that you've gone out of your way to cater to their kids, then it leads to a better overall experience with their stay and maybe a better review.
In some of our properties, we've also added a high chair and even a booster seat. So if you're really leaning into that family-friendly vibe, those are some great options, additional options to consider if you have the extra storage space.
Mistake number 5 is not including outdoor dinnerware, and this is especially true if you have an outdoor dining space, a pool, or a patio, or things like that.
Guests will want to bring drinks and snacks outside, and if your only option is glassware, then you're just one dropped cup away from a safety issue.
We found that having some plastic cups, some melamine dinnerware, and some outdoor-friendly serving trays makes your space a lot more usable.
It also protects your nicer indoor items and cuts down on breakage overall.
And if your rental has a pool, this is really a non-negotiable thing. If you end up with broken glass by your pool, or even worse, in it, it's gonna be a bad day.
These don't have to be expensive or even a double set like we mentioned with some of the other kitchen items earlier. Just enough to enjoy a drink or a snack outside without damage.
Cocktails on the patio.
And we must have a pool.
Mistake number 6 is buying dishes or glassware that you can't easily replace.
We know that it's tempting to buy the first nice set that you see in a store on sale, but once a few pieces break and you can't find the exact replacements, you're left with the decision to either have a mismatched set in your cabinet or replacing the whole thing.
Stores like Target and Home Goods change their inventory often, so if you buy a set now, it might not be there in a few months.
That's why we tend to look for dishware from a brand that has a consistent product line like Amazon Basics.
Or if you do fall in love with something unique or something seasonal, buy a few extra sets and keep those spares in your supply closet.
You will thank yourself down the line when you have a few chipped plates in your cabinet and you're able to quickly pull out the spares and not have to make another trip to the store.
Mistake number 7 is not thinking about where guests are gonna put their food.
Whether it's a few snacks or a full grocery haul, guests always bring some amount of food with them, and they need somewhere to store it.
If every inch of your counter space is taken up with decor or appliances, then guests are gonna be left scrambling to try and stack up cereal boxes or whatever they bought at the store, and it's just gonna look like a mess.
This also leads to decreased counter space for guests when prepping for cooking, which can be frustrating.
We tried to leave at least one section of countertop completely open without any appliances or anything else, which is a good place for guests to unload all their groceries.
And if you have a pantry or you can set aside an empty cabinet for guests to use as a pantry, even better.
It's a small detail, but it makes a big difference with how functional your kitchen feels and how well a guest can get settled into staying at your house.
Mistake number 8 is not providing guests with the supplies that they need to clean up after themselves.
You don't need to go overboard here, but the basics really do matter.
So things like dish soap, dishwasher tabs, a fresh sponge, cleaning spray for wiping down the counters, and a roll of paper towels at a minimum.
We also leave a small hand broom under the sink and a vacuum somewhere in the house because most guests are gonna wanna clean up any messes they make as they happen.
The easier you make it for guests to tidy up after themselves, the cleaner your property is going to be, most likely, at checkout, and the less likely you are to get bad reviews about having an understocked house.
We've linked all of our favorite cleaning basics on our supply list, which you can access in the description box below or visiting arrivals.com/supplies.
We hope this helped you spot a few easy ways to improve your STR kitchen, because sometimes it's the small things that make the biggest difference in how your space functions for a guest.
If you found this video helpful, we'd really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up, and check out those free resources we put in the description box below.
And if you're looking for more short-term rental tips and tricks, we'll leave another video here on screen.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.